Hello everyone, welcome to another Java video. In this video, we're going to be solving multiple problems, but the first problem we're going to solve is the following. We're going to write a program that takes two integer inputs, num1 and num2, and we're going to determine if num1 is greater than, equal to, or less than num2. So let's get started. We're going to write system.out.println, and we're going to say enter num1, semicolon, and then we're going to create string input1 to be equal to sc.nextLine. Okay, and since we're getting another number, I'm going to do that again. Okay, for num2 and an input of 2, and that's going to be our input of num1 and num2. All right, then we must convert num inputs to numbers. So in this case, I'm just going to use integers. We're going to say int num1 is equal to integer parse int, and we're going to take input of 1 semicolon, and we're going to do that same to input 2, so we can just copy that code, create new variables for them, and we have converted our inputs to integers. With that made, now we can check if num1 is greater than or equal to or less than num2. So check the comparisons of each number. And then we're going to do the following. We're going to write if statement. You write bracket and your curly brace. Our condition is going to go here. And if that condition is true, it's going to execute the code inside. So we're going to say, well, the condition is if num1 is greater than num2. All right. We're going to write the following system.out.println. Num1 is greater than num2. Okay. And we're going to copy that format, and we're going to write else if here. We're going to introduce a second condition. Say that num1 is less than num2. So we're going to say num1 is less than num2. And then we're going to copy that. We're actually just going to go else, because if any of these statements are not true, we know for sure at the very bottom that these two values are equal to each other. So I'm just going to copy that over. We can say num1 is equal to num2. So that is our code. Let's test it. It compiled successfully. I'm just going to run our video 9 class. Num1, let's say it's 12 and 6. 12 is greater than 6. We can say 12 and 13. 12 is less than 13. And then if we run it again, we have 12, 12. 12 is equal to 12. So that is our solution. So once again, we've done this before in our previous videos, and we should know what we're doing. So the only thing new we're introducing is like our ability to have different pathways depending on a condition. So if this is true, it only executes this. If this is true, it only executes this because the prior statement was false. If all of these were false, we execute our else statement. Okay, so this what is something I like to call related if statements, where this condition is related and dependent on the if statement prior, right? So if I deleted this else statement here, these are unrelated if statements where our program will always check this condition no matter what it turns true or false, and it will still evaluate this no matter what, because these two are not connected by an else if. Okay, but having that here, we can potentially ignore all this if this condition is true, so it makes our program more efficient. Anyways, that was a solution for num1 comparison to num2. Thank you for watching. Welcome back. For this program, we're going to be solving this given problem, right? A program such that when given a non-negative number input, output whether or not if that number is 2 away from a multiple of 10. There is multiple ways to do this, but the one I'm going to do is following. If I take a number, and if I were to, let's say, look at 8 or 12, for 8, if I just add 2, I can be a 10. For 12, if I subtract 2, I can be at a 10. So basically, if I were to add 2 to any numbers, or subtract 2 to any numbers, if any one of them just lands in a multiple of 10, we can kind of determine that number is 2 away from it, multiple 10 perfectly. So first and foremost, we're just going to take our input. So we're going to say string input is equal to sc dot next line. And then we want to convert that. So we're going to say int num is equal to integer parse int. And we're going to take input to convert that right there. And then, of course, we want to do a prompt. enter a number. All right, so we have our prompt ready, we have our input. Let's do our processing and output. And the plan was to just add 2 or subtract 2 to it and to see if it's a multiple of 10, then that we can write that as follows. So we can say if, we're going to write a bracket and so on. And we're going to say else, we're going to say system dot println. I'm going to bring the else down here. That's just the way I like to code. You can code differently, and that's perfectly fine as long as your code is readable. I say plus is not 2 away from a multiple of 10. We're going to put a semicolon there. So we're going to try to figure out what kind of condition we can write so that we can write this as is. It's 2 away from multiple 10 instead. So let's write the condition. The first little condition, I'm going to write it in a bracket. I'm going to say if num plus 2 modulus 10 is equal to 0, as in if I were to add 2 and if I can divide it by 10 and get no remainders, then we have a number that's multiple of 10. We can also write, or we can write the same thing but just say num minus 2 modulus 10 is equal to 0, as in if I were to subtract 2, like a number like 12 or 22, and if I were to divide that by 10, if there is no remainder, that means we have a multiple of 10 perfectly. All right, so that was our solution code. So let's test it. Let's try 12. 12 is 2 away from multiple of 10. I just fixed my little output here because I was putting that together. Run it again. Let's try 24. 24 is not 2 away from multiple of 10. Oh, I need to recompile. 24. There you go. Let's try 8, and 8, it's 2 away from a multiple of 10. So this was one way of writing this condition. And for those of you who had tried this question and you did it this way, maybe try to think about, well, there is another way to write this condition, or something else to look for, and I want you to think about what that might be for the future. But as always, thank you for watching. All right, welcome back. We're going to write a program that takes a string object as an input. If the value of the input is Saturday or Sunday, we're going to put yay, it's the weekend. Otherwise, we're going to say boo, it's not the weekend. Here we go. So in here, we don't need to do any input conversions because we are going to be dealing with strings. All right, so we're going to say string. Our day input is going to be sc.nextLine, semicolon, and we're going to ask them to input a day of the week. Enter a day of the week. Okay, and we have that inputted right there, and then we're going to go into a processing and output. Basically, we want to be saying yay during Saturday or Sunday, so let's check that first. We're going to say if set up our if statements properly. We have our colon, we have our curly brace to say that our code block starts here, and then we're going to output system that println yay, it is the weekend. Okay, and we're looking for two things here, but when we're comparing strings, we actually have to use a method called equals. So we're gonna say we're gonna take our day and we're gonna write equals Saturday, or day equals Sunday. So if we get any of these options, it's gonna be true, and we're going to be happy, so we will be able to say, yay, it's the weekend. Otherwise, it's not something fun. We have to go to school on those days, so I'm going to put println, boo, it is not the weekend. Alrighty. So let's see how this code works. So let's say it is Saturday. It's going to be a good day. It's yay, it's the weekend. But if we were to say Friday, it's going to be boo, it's not the weekend, because it wasn't any of these. Now, one thing to note, if I were to write Sunday, it should be a weekend where we should be excited, but it's going to say boo, it's not the weekend, because our comparison is going to be case sensitive. So don't forget about that. But always remember that when we're comparing values of strings to another string, we want to use equals, not the double equal sign or any of the comparison operators we learned in Java so far. And as always, thank you for watching. All right, so welcome to another Java video here. We're going to be looking at this food menu item program. Given the following menu food items, I put it in as a comment down below, and their prices. I'll put the total cost of the meal if the user inputted values for their choice of food item, side item, and a drink. And we're going to be trying this with switch cases. Okay, so first and foremost, what I'm going to do is plan. Well, I'm going to get three inputs: one for the burgers, one for their size, and one for their drink size. And I'm going to do that in like succession. So here we go. First, we're going to handle burgers first. So we're going to say system.println, enter your burger choice. Okay. And then we're going to output this message. System.out.println menu, like that. So we'll be able to do that. Oops. Boom. Let me just move that over so we don't do that again. All right, and then we're gonna go. We're gonna say that string burger is equal to. Let's see the next line. Okay, but throughout all this, we actually need a variable initialization because we're gonna be, calculating total cost. So do a little variable initialization here and say double cost is equal to 0. Let's put 0.0, and we'll be adding to this every time we make a little choice. So we're going to say if, actually, no, we're not going to use it. We're going to use switch, and this is going to be dependent on burger. And then we're going to write our curly braces. Okay. Then we're going to write our first case. It's going to be, well, case. We're going to be looking for just a normal burger. And that means we're going to say, let's write down system.out.println burger was chosen, adding 210. All right, so we're going to do that, and we're actually going to add that value into our cost. So we're going to say cost is equal to whatever it was prior, and we're going to add $2.10 to that, and we're going to copy this over, and we're also going to write break here so that we exit this switch case statement. Next, we're going to say case, if we were to choose cheeseburger, right, spelling is going to matter a lot. It's going to cost $2.40, and we're going to say cheeseburger was chosen for $2.40. And lastly, we're going to say case hot dog. And then that's going to cost $1. So we're just going to edit that like that. And then we're going to say hot dog was chosen, adding $1. And then we forgot breaks here. Then we're going to say default. We're going to say system.out.println, no burger chosen. Moving on sides. Semicolon. Okay, so we have that much code already written, so let's see how this works. Oh, its case uses colons. Sorry, everyone. It's not. I was thinking of something else. It does not use curly braces here. It uses colon. Okay. Let's try that again. Clear. Burger choice, semicolon. There we go. It compiled properly. We're going to go with execute video 09. We're going to do our burger choice right now and say that we're going to use cheeseburger. And it says cheeseburger was chosen. So we should have added $2.40. Beautiful. So we can actually copy this over now and just really do this for all this. Okay. So I'm going to do copy that. All right. And then we're going to get sides. We're going to go up to our little comment there, and we're going to write our menu as the following. Enter your side choice. Okay, and then this is going to be our side variable. And then we're going to be our switch case is going to be depending on the variable called side. We're going to be looking for fries first, and then onion rings. Okay, sweet potato fries. Okay, and we can say no side was chosen, and we can move on to drinks. That okay. So fries, and we're gonna be adding $1.60. Okay, onion rings. We're gonna be adding $2. Okay, and then sweet potato fries cost $2.25. And we're gonna be updating our values. So let's go. We have that ready. Okay. And then we're going to copy this for our drinks. Okay. It's going to be very repetitive, but since we have a nice little code working, it's not always a bad idea just to use it over and over again. But later on, you're going to learn that repeating code like this is also not the best thing to do. But in terms of our coding skill, we have no choice but to do this. So we're going to look for a small. Let's be a little smarter about this. So it's going to be medium, large. And this is going to be large drink. It's chosen. We're going to say medium drink was chosen. And then we can say small drink was chosen. It's $1.50. 165. We can say 165, and then 185. 185. Boom. And then we can say no side, no drink was chosen. No drink chosen. Moving on to the bill. Okay. So we have done the burgers, we have done the sides, we have done drinks. Therefore, we can get to our output of the bill. Here we go. So let's say following. We're going to say, well, if cost is greater than 0.0, I want to output that we chose, well, we output the total cost. So we can say output.println. The total cost is, we're going to put $sign here plus cost. Otherwise, we can just output system.out.println. You did not order anything today. Semicolon. Awesome. So let's see if this program works now. Compile that. Compiled well. We had no compile errors. I'm going to order a cheeseburger. Okay. And then I'm going to order onion rings. Okay. And then I'm going to get a medium-sized drink. Okay. So our programs are not good at doing decimal-based math. That's okay. So let's see. 240 plus $2 is 440, and then we add a 165. Okay, so that is $6.05 left over. Perfect. That is our order all done. If I want to run it again, I say nothing, nothing, nothing. We didn't order anything today, but this will also do the same thing for like gibberish that it didn't match any of the cases that we had. Okay, so this is how you use a switch case. I do apologize that I use curly braces at the beginning. You want to use colons for this, okay? Which is very Python-esque, which I did not expect, but there you go. You have created your very first menu. This was a very interesting but intensive program, but it was super cool, and I hope you enjoyed that. As always, thank you for watching, and stay classy.